We'll now tell you how the overnight cues that we just spoke about are going to impact our own markets. We have our research team joining in to tell you just that. It's our Power Prep segment, and we have with us Vivek Mangalam, and we'll also be talking about stocks that are likely to be in the news as well. First up, Vivek, tell us, what is the market setup looking like today?
Well, good morning. Yesterday was a historic day given the fact that you saw the benchmark index hit a lifetime high. And however, what market participants were watching closely was the fact that this came despite the fact that we actually saw quite a bit of weak cues from global markets. Even today, the setup is not really much different. Overnight global cues, like we mentioned earlier, has been quite subdued, with most of the US markets ending in the red. Even European markets ended largely in the red. However, the extent of the fall was not the same as the US markets. Now, interestingly, gold prices also fell lower by close to 1%. Crude prices, after hitting a multi-month low yesterday, did see a bounce back. This was on fears of a significant OPEC plus production cut that could come as far as crude was concerned. Now, going forward, some of the key events that we are tracking, there's a largish IPO, Dharmaraj IPO yesterday on day one did see healthy subscription over there. In fact, the important thing to watch out for would be the fact that how exactly are Asian markets performing. This is in the context of the fact that as China COVID cases rise, you're actually seeing quite a bit of unrest, and this is something that has led to significant sell-off across both Asia as well as US markets. So far, this hasn't impacted the Indian markets. However, today the LCX Nifty is indicating a gap down start, so it'll be interesting to see whether we see the kind of pullback that we saw in yesterday's trading session.
Yes, it will be. So those levels important to watch. Thanks a lot for that, Vivek. Let's talk some stocks now. Surbhi is joining us to tell you which stocks will be in the news today. Surbhi?
I have a few stocks on my radar today. The first one is NDTV, where Adani Enterprises says that the NDTV promoter RRPR has agreed to issue 99.5% of its equity to Adani Group's subsidiary VCPL. Next is Lupin, where the company's Brazilian unit acquires rights to 9 brands from Bosch Health. NBCC, the company gets 2 orders worth rupees 272 crores. And lastly, the 2 recent listings have reported their Q2 numbers. First one is 5-Star Business, where the loan book is up 8% sequentially, the net interest income is up 10%, and the OPEX is up 12.5% at 100 crores versus 89 crores last quarter. Fusion Microfinance, the AUM is up 9%, the net interest income is up nearly 31%, and the PAT is up 27% at 95 crores versus 75 crores last quarter.
Okay, Surbhi, thank you so much for all those details. Finally, Mangalam is joining in with all the cues from the FNO space. Hey, Mangalam.
Good morning. So, the SGX Nifty is indicating a muted start to kick things off, but yesterday was a record high for our markets, and thereafter we did see a bit of a cool off, almost 50 points from the highs out there, and importantly that was led lower by the Nifty Bank itself. So to that extent, that will be an important index to watch out for in today's trading session. But as far as cash markets are concerned, we saw the FIIs and DIIs, both by DIIs of course bought sub 100 crores, but net the institutional flows were positive to the tune of 1,000 odd crores. And index futures as well, the FIIs bought 1,400 odd crores, and this after a session where they sold in index futures. So 16,000 long contracts being added, just about 700 short contracts being added, as a result of which the FI long exposure, which at the start of the series was 77%, fell to 71%, and after yesterday's move actually has clawed back to around 73 odd percent as well. What was interesting was the action that we saw in index options. The FIs are protecting themselves for any downside that comes by buying a lot of puts, and with the levels at which the India VIX is at right now, the put buying is a lot more affordable. So 78,000 puts is what they've bought, but at the same time they believe that these dips will be extremely shallow, and that is what gives them confidence to go ahead and write puts as well. So they've written about an equal number of puts on the downside as well. What were the active options? We had 18,500 call writers who actually shed their positions as the Nifty moved higher yesterday, and as a result of which that turned into 18,500 put writers. So those were extremely active for a premium of almost 4850 odd rupees. 18,450 is a mark that we'll be watching out for in terms of the immediate support. On the way up, 18,600 put also saw some writing, as did the 18,600 call. What are the levels that you're watching out for on the Nifty? Well, the 5-day moving average, the 5-day exponential moving average, as well as the 10-day exponential moving average are a bunch of things that we'll be watching out for on the Nifty. 18,369 to 18,451 will be important support zones. And whereas for the start, we'll watch out for whether the Nifty goes ahead and crosses the record high that it hit yesterday. Watch out for Reliance, what it does.
Oh, yes, and that was a big contributor to the Nifty gains that we saw yesterday, right?